and watching what people say, and I'm like, dude, people should be thrown in jail for saying some of this stuff. This is crazy. The fact that we can say this and get away with it, blatant lies. Now, why do we continuously refuse to engage in and do the very activities and things that will lead us to supposedly where we wanted to go? What are you talking about, BC? Well, and a lot of stuff that I've been discussing, the industries that I've, dabbled in, been a part of, sales, real estate, the online coaching and training platforms, traveling and speaking, dealing with personal development, the evolution of human beings, their increase in intelligence, maximizing your capacity as a human being. Some of these different subjects that I've, been well versed in and been teaching and talking about, and the worlds that I've been involved with for a long time. People continuously avoid all the things that they know deep down inside they need to do. And it's been interesting because when I look at it from the position of, sales, being in the sales industry and real estate and all that, the required work that people need to engage in is not rocket science. We're in a direct sales business. We're expected to have conversations with people every single day about buying, selling, investing in real estate, keeping in touch with our past clients, right? Cultivating those relationships. Basic stuff. Yet when I have conversations with individuals, when I deal with even my coaching members, I find the struggle is around that. There's always an avoidance of talking to people, trying to find an easier way, trying to find a better way, trying to find a way of avoiding it altogether. And that's just not going to happen. Yet 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years is spent attempting to crack this code and figure it out. Then marketers come in and they start preying on you, right? And this is applicable outside of my industry too. It's just a very simple example that I can give. But at the end of the day, what does it boil down to? People just flat out don't want to engage with other human beings. We're avoiding other human beings. It's become okay. We're dealing with a deeper rooted issue here. It's been okay to not deal with people. It's okay now and champion to go to the self-checkout when you go to the grocery store instead of dealing with a person. So much so that individuals will wait in line at the self-checkout instead of going to check out with the cashier. Meaning, to avoid social interaction, they would rather go to the self-checkout. Isn't that crazy? People don't meet each other out much anymore. People are struggling socially. So why am I bringing that up? Well, Bryan, what does it have to do with your example of sales and real estate? It has everything to do with it. Because individuals were already scared and hesitant to be rejected and deal with that socially. Because that's what it is, right? You go out, you prospect, you're doing your thing, right? You're getting rejected. And the reason that hurts is socially, we don't like being rejected, right? There's a social consequence to it in a way. At least we think that in our modern society. There really isn't, but we think that. We think we're going to be embarrassed. No one's going to like us, right? That's really the deep rootedness of it. But in today's society, it's not like that, but we believe that it is. So the reason that that's a contributing factor is nowadays because we already are dealing with the rejection aspect of it. Our society has accelerated technologically to the point where it's okay and normal in a day to avoid people altogether. So now we've compounded this issue. We've compounded it. Before, we knew, hey, in some way, shape, or form, I'm going to have to deal with humans and socialize. Especially pre-cell phones and all that, when things weren't as digital. Now, I can date online, I can have my food delivered, I can have my groceries delivered, I can get my car parts delivered, I can have somebody come to the house and fix my car outside and not even talk to them. I can literally forge an existence where I deal with AI, Chat GPT, online stuff, and I don't have to worry about any of that. I don't have to deal with humans. Therefore, when you do have to deal with a human now, if you haven't done it in 3 days, a week, or you don't do it regularly, it's insurmountably more difficult. It's painstakingly obvious, like, oh man. So now it's even further ingrained. So you add the marketers and all the noise that we have in the world. Well, I don't have to deal with people anymore. It's not about dealing with people. It's about, right, all the marketing messages and bullshit and algorithm that people put out. It is insane, the stuff that I hear, y'all. And I'm sitting here sometimes looking at ads and watching what people say, and I'm like, dude, people should be thrown in jail for saying some of this stuff. This is crazy. The fact that we can say this and get away with it, blatant lies. Now, if you're ignorant to it and you don't know what you're saying, that's one thing. But I really believe that these people, a lot of them are not that dumb. They're just preying on people. Could I, with my brand and my platforms, come out with stuff to prey on people to get them to buy it? Sure. Give them the easy solution? Absolutely. I could make a lot of money doing that. But why would I? I'm lying. I'm being deceitful. I'm leading people astray the wrong way. You know what we stand for here. That message has always been clear, and it's always going to remain the same, and we'll grow and evolve, sure. That's why I'm waiting for this TV thing to come out, right? That online streaming platform thing that I'm doing. They're on all the platforms. Wait until that comes out in a couple months. I'm going to be filming next month. I'm shooting this in April. I film in about a month. I do some filming. Wait. That message is going to be clear in it. And I might even go ham in that. I'm going to really push the boundary with them and say, hey man, can I get a little raw and real with people? Because they need to hear this stuff. My message used to somewhat be mainstream before 2020, 2021. Now look, I don't get more than a couple hundred views on these videos. And that's probably not going to change on this platform for a while. Maybe a couple guest appearances, this TV thing, maybe that helps. I don't know. But I'm already moving forward, grinding and doing my thing as if that shadow banning stuff is never going to change. Maybe it doesn't. I don't care. If it flips around, great. But I'm going to keep doing what I do. Because I'm getting results, I'm living a life worth living, I'm enjoying my life, right? I have a lot of announcements coming out this week. We're expanding Team BC into a new area and region. I'm relaunching in a few states with new and improved leadership and members. All that stuff I'll be announcing over the next week or two. I'm excited. So I always tell people, if anything, let what I'm doing serve as an example to you. That although I'm dealing with the game being rigged against me harder than it normally is, I'm still doing a lot based on these basic principles. I'm still talking to people. My team is still prospecting. We're acting as if nothing has changed. Yet, as the world is going the wrong direction, we continue to push in the right direction and get great results. I made a lot of changes and sacrifices the last couple years that people were messaging me like, what are you doing? You know, moving across the country, moving my team from eXp Realty to Real, and doing many other things. Why are you doing that and this and that and blah, blah, blah? Don't worry about it, because we stay on the same foundation and principles, and we continue to grow. You need to do the same. You need to get back to that old school stuff that everybody's so afraid of. Pick up the phone, get out there and knock on doors, go to networking events, host open houses, talk to people. If you're a regular entrepreneur, you're a salespeople, talk to as many people as you can every single day. People that you don't know. Yes, talk to people that you know, but talk to as many people that you don't know every single day. And things will begin to change very quickly. Your outlook on life will change. You'll diversify your skill set. You'll become interested in developing your skill set, which will lead you to more studies and more growth and more training. You'll start getting leads. You'll get better results. Your career will improve. You'll meet new people. Your network will expand. You'll have better friendships that lead to better conversations and better outcomes. Your self-esteem will improve. I mean, I can go on and on. All based on going out there and talking to people every single day. Now, isn't that interesting? So, as we start wrapping this up, take a look at your day or days right now, or even your last week, and say, man, how much of my day and my time is involved in these productive activities, income-producing activities? Talking to people, being the principal one. If you're in business, entrepreneur, sales, real estate, your number one focus and priority every single day needs to be talking to people. Talking to people, generating conversations, cold conversations with people that you don't know. Not emailing, not posting on social media, not DMing people from your home, live conversations. The other stuff is bonus, everything I just described. It's not that you don't have to do it, but that's a bonus. Priority number one, live conversations. Now, once you come back to me and you say, hey, BC, I'm making 100, 150, 200 grand a year, then we can talk about taking you to the next level. But if you're not making 150, 200 grand yet, you need to just focus on what I'm talking about. If you're already making 150 or 200 grand, then DM me on Instagram or Facebook and let's talk about getting you to the next level. I can help you with that too. But the vast majority of what I've talked about on these platforms and focused on is getting people to that, because most people will never get there, believe it or not. You're still in the top 10, 15% if you make 100K. If you make 150, 200K, you're like in the top 5 or 7% or something like that. It's nuts. And most of these times when you guys hear these incomes being thrown out, oh, it's not that much money, it's like household income. The average household income in America is like 50, 60K. Household, not individual, household. Even if the household income was 80, 100K, let's say it was that. If there's 2 or 3 people working, that's not a lot. So let's get you to 100, 150. Then we can evolve and grow, do the marketing stuff and the different stuff. But we got to crawl before we walk, y'all. And we got to get back to those very basic things. So it may require many of you putting your ego to the side and saying, hey, you know what? I might have to stop, get rid of all this BS and distraction, roll my sleeves up, and get back to traditional, nitty-gritty, hard work. I did that for 2.5, 3 years before I ever and lifted my head up. Because I knew it was going to be required and it was going to lay the foundation for a future that was bountiful, free, and that would give me all the opportunities that I ever wanted. But if we're not willing to put our heads down and put in the work, then what's going to change, y'all? I'm sure most of you watching this video aren't in a position where you're like, oh man, 300K a year and things are growing. If you are, fantastic, man, then you're doing the right thing. Salute to you. Keep doing what you're doing. But if you're not, which it's most people, and we know this statistically, regardless of what people say, then you got to make a change. And a lot of you have been listening to me for years, but you haven't really applied. And that's the problem. Hey, I've had a surge recently of people joining my coaching and training platforms because they've told me that, you know what, dude, I've been putting this off for way too long. I need to sign up and do this thing. Great. Maybe this is your sign. But if not, at least go back and watch my playlist. I have 20 million views here on YouTube. Watch some of the older videos, right? I don't want to have to repeat myself a million times and apply. And you will do well. It's more applicable now than it was 10 years ago because everyone's looking in a different direction now instead of focusing on what works, the tried and the true. All right? Have a good day, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.